The J-20 is China's most advanced stealth fighter, admired for its speed, firepower, and cutting-edge technology. With the upcoming introduction of the newer J-36, some are asking whether this opens the door for the J-20 to enter the international arms market. On paper, such a move could create shockwaves, especially among nations looking to break away from Western defense suppliers. Yet beneath the surface lies a web of secrecy, cost, and geopolitical tension that makes the J-20 one of the least likely aircraft to be offered for export. The reality is complex and deeply strategic. The J-20 is more than a weapon, it is a cornerstone of China's national security. And in that role it is unlikely to ever leave home. When China first unveiled the J-36, a sixth-generation fighter reportedly in early development, defense analysts and military observers began to speculate. Would the arrival of this new jet signal the retirement, or export, of the J-20? After all, it is a common pattern in global arms markets for older systems to become available once newer ones enter service. But in the case of the J-20, that logic does not seem to apply. The J-20 was never designed as an export product. From its earliest development stages, its purpose has been singular: to act as a central pillar of China's national air defense. Every aspect of its design, from its stealth profile to its internal weapons carriage, was tailored for use within an integrated military system that extends across radar networks, airborne sensors, and ground-based command structures. Exporting such a platform would mean disclosing sensitive capabilities. For example, the radar-absorbing coating applied to the J-20 is a classified material, designed to reduce the aircraft's visibility to enemy sensors. Even the angle of the aircraft's airframe, the design of its side-mounted missile bays, and its unique data fusion algorithms are carefully guarded secrets. These details reveal more than just industrial achievements. They form the operational core of how China would conduct air combat. To sell the J-20 abroad would be to offer insight into the very nature of China's threat detection, target tracking, and electronic warfare logic. This is not a risk any nation takes lightly, especially when its defense posture relies heavily on keeping those capabilities concealed. For China, sharing the J-20 with other countries, even allies, would be comparable to revealing an encrypted codebook to a potential adversary. There are also clear parallels in global military behavior. The United States, despite building hundreds of its own advanced stealth fighter, the F-22 Raptor, has never offered it for export. The reason is simple: the F-22 contains technologies that the U.S. considers irreplaceable in a conflict with a peer adversary. Russia's Su-57, though offered for sale, is typically delivered in modified, simplified configurations, stripping out sensitive systems. The logic is consistent across nations. Core national defense assets are not for sale. Beyond secrecy, there are practical obstacles that also make the J-20 unsuitable for export. Chief among them is cost. The estimated base price of a single J-20 exceeds $100 million. But that is only the starting point. Once weapons, mission systems, maintenance infrastructure, and pilot training are added, the full lifecycle cost per unit easily surpasses $120 million. Daily operational expenses are equally daunting. The stealth coating must be reapplied after approximately 400 flight hours. The materials required for this maintenance are extremely expensive, measured in thousands of dollars per kilogram, with costs rivaling precious metals. The engines require frequent overhauls, and pilot training is another significant expense. Each hour in the cockpit can cost more than 400,000 yuan, not including infrastructure like climate-controlled hangars, specialized ground equipment, or secure communication systems. Only a small number of countries can afford such a machine. Even China's most dependable security partner, Pakistan, often struggles with the financial demands of maintaining a modern air force. Previous purchases of lightweight fighters have required financing assistance or extended payment plans. The notion of affording multiple J-20s, along with the necessary support systems, is unrealistic without external backing. Wealthier countries, such as those in the Gulf region, may seem like more viable customers. But nations like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have long-standing military relationships with the United States, and those ties come with conditions. Buying Chinese fighters, especially high-end models like the J-20, would carry geopolitical consequences. Such a shift could risk sanctions or the suspension of existing Western weapons support. In the high-stakes realm of international defense, financial ability does not always equal political freedom. Some have speculated that a downgraded export variant, possibly named the J-20E, could be sold at a significantly lower price point, perhaps under $50 million. But this figure is largely aspirational. A reduced-cost version of the J-20 would require stripping away many of the technologies that make the aircraft effective. Doing so might make the jet more affordable, but it would also remove much of its operational value. At that point, buyers might find better performance in other aircraft with fewer restrictions. Equally important is the ecosystem required to support a fighter like the J-20. This aircraft was not designed to operate independently. Its full potential is realized only when paired with early warning aircraft, electronic warfare platforms, long-range data networks, and a well-trained support force. This level of system integration demands extensive investment and coordination, something not all buyers are prepared or able to establish. Without that supporting network, even a sophisticated platform like the J-20 loses much of its effectiveness. In contrast, the J-35 represents a different approach. This medium-weight stealth fighter was designed from the outset with export in mind. Its foreign trade version, the J-35AE, includes simplified radar and avionics systems that retain combat capability while protecting core technologies. From its pricing to its political positioning, the J-35 is built to appeal to nations looking for cost-effective alternatives to Western jets. Its market traction is already evident. Egypt was among the first countries to sign on, with Saudi Arabia and Algeria also expressing interest. The J-35's unit cost is less than $80 million, and it supports flexible financing structures, including payments in resources or joint production arrangements. In performance, it offers both air-to-air and air-to-ground capabilities, and versions are being developed for both land-based and carrier-based operations. The J-35's appeal lies in its balance: competitive performance, manageable cost, and reduced political friction. It allows countries to acquire advanced aviation technology without sacrificing national autonomy or facing heavy-handed restrictions from traditional suppliers. Even as the J-36 moves closer to operational readiness, projected around the year 2030, the J-20's role remains vital. A new aircraft, no matter how advanced, requires time to achieve full combat capability. Until then, the J-20 will continue to anchor China's air strategy. During this period, China has no incentive to release such a strategic asset to the global market. What may change, however, is the selective transfer of certain J-20 technologies into other export platforms. Already, simplified versions of the aircraft's sensor systems are being used in drones like the Xiaolong 3. Its cold launch mechanisms and stealth design principles could be adapted into future missile or UAV systems designed for sale. These innovations provide commercial opportunities without compromising strategic defense systems. Under extremely specific conditions, such as a full cash payment by a trusted financial partner like Saudi Arabia and tight controls on end use, China might consider a highly restricted export. But such deals would be rare, symbolic, and heavily limited in scope. The risks remain high and the benefits are marginal at best. In the end, the distinction between the J-20 and J-35 reflects the underlying logic of China's defense strategy. The J-20 is not just a fighter jet, it is a core piece of national security infrastructure. The J-35, on the other hand, is a carefully calibrated export platform aimed at disrupting traditional military markets. When the J-35 takes to the skies over foreign airspace, it represents more than just an aircraft sale. It signals a shift in the global defense trade. But the J-20's continued absence from that market is itself a statement of intent. Its value lies not in how many are produced but in what it protects. The battlefield of the future will not be decided by the number of aircraft sold, but by the strength and independence of the defense ecosystems that support them. For China, choosing not to export the J-20 is not a limitation, it is a strategic calculation.